All right, good evening. While the Wings on the Lake folks serve dinner this evening, first of all, my name is Eric Stasiowski, Chairman of the Board for Mainstreet Medina. Welcome on a cool, more than cool, frigid evening here. And it's an odd dynamic because this is, I think, our coldest annual meeting, yet our best attended. So I'm not sure, something magical there. So on behalf of the Board of Directors, welcome to the annual meeting. Before I introduce the mayor who's going to address us this evening, once again, I wanted to give you a little kind of interesting thing that I saw over the weekend. Now, before I do that, I'm going to put a little disclaimer on this. So in a minute, I'm going to show you a commercial from Chase Bank. Does anyone have a reason why anyone know why I might be showing a commercial from Chase Bank? They gave you money? No. But before I do that, in all seriousness, one of our founding partners of Mainstreet Medina from the beginning has been Huntington Bank. So I talked to Kevin, Kevin talked to Ron. I said, I want to show a commercial from your competitor, is that okay? And after Kevin having a few drinks, he said, okay. So in all seriousness, Huntington Bank is a founding sponsor of Mainstreet Medina. If you don't know this, they are a title sponsor of this event this evening. They also provide us, through their generosity, our physical space for our office. So I do want to recognize Huntington Bank as one of our sponsors and founding partners. Okay, so with that piece, there is a commercial. Now, I'm not even sure we're going to have the audio, but I just want you to watch the visual. And Linda, if you could click that magic button there and scroll down, and we're just going to play this commercial that actually aired during some NFL games over the weekend. We're going to have to look real closely. It's a 60-second commercial. So I'm watching the NFL games over the weekend, and I'm watching this Chase commercial, and I'm like, wait a minute, was that Courthouse Pizza, and was that Dan's Dogs, like on this national spot? So I just thought it was kind of interesting. It does speak to how Medina and its profile is being raised. I believe this commercial was actually shot, Kimberly, in Q3 of last year. Maybe it was, I'm sure they coordinated with the city to shoot it, but kind of interesting, right? Just the profile of our small town that is getting on a much bigger stage. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the Honorable Mayor Dennis Hanwell for a couple remarks.
Good evening, and thank you all for coming. Just to share a few things. First of all, and most importantly, is our council president, John Coyne, is here. Where you at, John? There he is. I've benefited in I'm starting my 16th year as mayor, and I've benefited through my entire time in the administration of the city with a great working relationship with the council and working together as opposed to how other administrations and the council had previously worked. And they told us it couldn't be done, but we're evidence that it can be. So I'm just going to take you back in history real quickly. In November of 2009, I was elected the first time as the mayor of the city. And the first thing I did was meet with Matt Wiederholt from Mainstreet and told him that we the council, the city, enjoyed everything that Mainstreet was doing, but we wanted to see more of it. We wanted to see that square used over and over every weekend, weeknights, and they've more than accomplished that. In fact, my vision of what it could be exceeded what's been accomplished here. And that's through the work of Matt, originally with George helping him, and now George with Angela helping them. And what I did is commit that the city would provide our resources, our parks people, our streets people, for help and set up, help and clean up. And really that's been the key to the growth of Mainstreet Medina. George shared with me a week or so ago, maybe two, that in 2008, when the program started, the city gave a stipend, and every year thereafter, a stipend to Mainstreet Medina of $30,000. Well, with inflation and everything, that's never moved. So I submitted a request for council action, maybe a little bit prematurely, because George thought it was going to happen this coming Monday. But the Finance Committee passed that unanimously to go from $30,000 to $40,000 because the city and the city administration and the council are committed to Main Street and all they have done for the city, and we're blessed as a result of that. And then the third thing, and I'll keep it to 3 points if we don't count Mr. Coyne. The third thing is the promise of Christmas. I know you've seen it. We've got local, regional, and national attention for it, but that would not have happened. It was the vision of Mark and Dana Claus, but that would not have happened without Main Street being the fiscal agent for the donations, without the Chamber of Commerce, without the Convention and Visitors Bureau, without the city, and without Castle Noel. None of us could have done that alone. In fact, most cities couldn't do it even with that collaborative effort. But Medina showed that it could be done. And just this afternoon, I got a letter from the mayor who came up from Chimney Rock, North Carolina. And this is what I want to leave you with. He said, all of the things that were planned, the meals, the activities, the events, your beautiful, charming downtown, what impressed us the most was how kind and welcoming your community is. From the stores to the employees to the people on the street, we have never encountered people as welcoming as Medina, and that's you. Thank you for everything you do for Medina, and God bless.
Thank you, Mayor, for those kind words and your continued support of our organization, as well as to City Councilman as well. So I'm going to call to order the official business of our annual meeting. It boils down to just a couple PowerPoint slides and about 5 minutes worth of information to tell you a little bit about Mainstreet Medina and what we've been up to the last year. Then we're going to turn it over to George, and we're going to do some recognition and some fun awards the back half of today's meeting. So as a reminder, our mission and vision is on the board. On the projector, the mission statement remains unchanged to lead the effort to promote historic preservation, economic sustainability, and development of the historic and Southtown districts as the heart of the community. A couple years ago, the board of directors adopted a vision. That vision states be Ohio's premier small town destination, and with the mayor's remarks that we could maybe broaden that to North America's small town destination with some of the nice stuff that we just recently did. Strategic goals. So in 2021, the board adopted a set of 4 goals for the organization. It was a 3-year strategy. I can report that this fall we worked on the next generation of our strategy. This is the one that is in effect, if you will, through 2024. So at this meeting next year we'll talk about the new strategy. But the strategic goals that have really driven the organization are the following. The first is to diversify sources of funding for sustainability. So when we first started the organization in 2008, it was a couple generous companies, individuals, and $30,000 stipend from the city. And so over the years, we've been able to diversify our funding. A couple examples from the last 12 months. With the tireless work of George Sam, we were able to secure more than $200,000 in federal grants, state grants, to promote historical preservation in the district. This is game-changing money for our organization, and that's coming from a source that typically does not yield a lot because it's very difficult to get grants A, written, and B, approved. I do want to recognize George and his grant writing abilities and working with local Congressman Mark? Yeah, Remachek, thank you. So please recognize George for securing a source of funding that typically wouldn't come our way. Thank you, George. There's other activities under that fundraising pillar. We also secured close to $10,000 in an annual appeal around Giving Tuesday in the holidays, and the continued hard work by Angela and others on our events and raising sponsors and donors and that sort of work. So obviously without the funding, the organization can only grow so far. So excellent work over the last 12 months, over the last 3 years around getting sources of revenue from different places. The second strategic goal is around raising awareness for Mainstreet Medina. I think there's a lot in the community. Our surveys tell us this, that they think Mainstreet Medina only puts on events on the square. Now, we certainly do that. We do a world-class farmers market. We've got Ice Festival coming up that we partner with another organization to pull off. But we also do a whole heck of a lot of other good stuff. We focus on advocacy and working with, for example, significant projects like the hotel and helping them through the process so it gets in front of city council and all the government boards. We also are very active, obviously, in historical preservation. And so raising the awareness of who Mainstreet Medina is continues to be very important, and we continue to focus on that. The third is to connect and engage beyond our boundaries, be inclusive of diverse audiences. That's both in terms of leadership, making sure that we have a diverse board that is representative of our community. I will say that the board of directors, and specifically the executive committee, has been really focused on making sure that we have that covered. And then the fourth strategic goal is around developing advocacy voice to advance business vitality, historical preservation, and community spirit. We do a whole lot of work around advocacy, supporting new businesses when they open up. How many, George, did you do last year? How many ribbon cuttings did you do? Yeah, more than 5, right? Yeah, I mean, it's throughout the Southtown and Midtown Historical District. We also did advocacy work, as I mentioned before, with the hotel group, the developer, early stage, to help them put some market studies together and talk about the potential impact in front of the community. And there's a whole host of other things. In short order, we will be producing an annual report where you can read all the accomplishments of the board. But this is our strategic goals. These are our strategic goals, and I think it's gone pretty well. At this time, if I can just ask our board of directors to stand to be recognized. So, board of directors, if I can ask you, sorry if you're mid-dinner, and I just would ask for a round of applause for the dedication and the time that these individuals did. So, board members, I think I've had some side conversations. Is there a board meeting tomorrow or next Thursday? Tomorrow. Is everyone good with tomorrow? You have an option. You can also do it next Thursday with a show of how many in favor of the board meeting tomorrow. Raise your hand, board members. Okay, next Thursday? All right, we'll stick with tomorrow. For some reason, we have something like 14 board members, but I only saw 2 hands go up, so that's it. So thank you to the board members. We do also, is Jason or Kelly here this evening? So serving on the board of Mainstreet Medina is a 3-year commitment. You can do a maximum of 2 terms, so 6 years. So Jason and Kelly, which I don't think...
When they resign, they're not even here tonight.
They're already out. So Jason, Kelly, and myself, we will be rolling off the board after our, with our terms expiring. So let's do a recognition, certainly for Jason and Kelly and the efforts they've put together. So Flavio, Jane, Lisa, Brad, I know you're here. Is Lisa, Jane, Flavio? If you could stand up, please. So these are our new board members coming on. Now, Brad actually has been a board member, and his term expired. He took a year off, and he is coming back. More about Brad here in a second. But Brad, Lisa, good to see you. Flavio and Jane. These are our new board members. They went through the board nomination process, and excited to have your contributions in the organization starting tomorrow morning, I guess. Yeah. A round of applause for our new board members. Like similar nonprofit governance structures, we have an executive committee that's made up of officers. The officers have been voted in and approved by the board, and so our officers for the 2025-2026 year, 2025 year is Brad Root, Chairman. Amy Busby, if you could stand up, and we'll recognize you as our Vice Chair. Allie Burmeister, Allie, I know you're here. Hi, Allie. Allie's in the back there. And then Becky Molnar, I'm not sure if she's able to make it. She's our treasurer. Round of applause for our new officers, please. And obviously, we have a very dedicated, very accomplished staff and a set of contractors to make our programs come alive. Everyone knows George. Works tirelessly for the organization. The one thing in particular that I really have come to learn about George is his ability to talk strategically and think strategically, but also execute at the most finite levels to drive this organization forward. So in one conversation, he could be talking about statewide grants and writing grants for our organization, and then later that day, you could see him watering flower plants, all around Southtown. So we're working on that, George. We're working on getting you out of the flower plant watering business. But George is obviously a remarkable leader in our organization, and again, I would like to recognize you in front of him. Angela Manzier, everybody knows Angela and the work that she does. It is not just Angela. She's got a team. She's got a very helpful and, I would say, patient family that also helps along. Lawrence, I see you there. I think Lawrence is our co-chair of the farmers market at some weeks. Angela's a wonderful asset and resource for our organization, and she has taken our events from ground zero to some level that I would consider best in country. When she took over the farmers market responsibilities, we actually were in a point of change. We had lost our previous farmers market. There was a new farmers market starting up. We had COVID just kicking in, and Angela took it on and has taken it to one of the best farmers markets in the country. I think, yeah. And that just happens to be just one of the, 9, 10, 11 events that you do. So her role had expanded in 2024. I still feel like our paths have crossed at some point because she and I did our MBA work together at Penn State in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania in the 90s. So we probably had class together. So, yeah. So I'd be very surprised if none of you have not met Angela, but if you haven't, please see her tonight and introduce yourself. Thank you, Angela and Lawrence and the rest of your family for all the support that you provide to Main Street. Manfred Heck, if you could just raise your hand there. Manfred's one of our part-time contractors. It sounds so unofficial, but he has been able to look at some of the data that our organization creates around people coming to our events. He's also very instrumental in our historical preservation program. That's the grant that we got that George secured, and helping to execute that. And what does that mean by executing a historical preservation grant and all the T's and C's and terms and conditions and that sort of thing. So, Manfred, thanks for your work. It was great to have you this year and last year, and look forward to your continued work this year. Linda Lovelace, if you just raise your hand there. Linda, besides playing that commercial for me a few minutes ago, she is our PR expert. And so she is one of our contractors that helps us make sure that our social media, our website, that the local press is aware of all the great stuff that we're doing here. And Brandy, I don't think Brandy is here, but Brandy is our accountant that does the books. And at any point, if you want to see any of our financials, they're open to the public. So you're welcome to see that. If I could have just a round of applause for our wonderful staff and contractors. And we also have interns, right? It takes a village to execute all the stuff that we've got going on at Mainstreet Medina. So I do also want to recognize Nadia, Brianna, and Emily. I don't think any of our 3 interns are probably in school right now, so unless classes were canceled, I guess. But so please, if you wouldn't mind recognizing the hard work of our interns that we had over the summer. Okay. So with that, enjoy the rest of the evening. I'm going to ask George to come up and provide a little bit more detail around our year in review. Thank you.
So first order of business, did someone lose a phone? It was over at the bar. It has lovely violets on as a picture. It's a dress. So I first of all wanted to talk a little bit about income expenses. I won't spend a lot of time on this, but we probably are surprising to most people about how much money comes into the organization and leaves the organization. We don't like to hold money. As you can see, our net profit for this year is $7,000. We bring money in, we spend the money. It's all about bringing it back into the community and really doing the best we can with your funds. So we appreciate all the donors, all the sponsors, everybody that gave $1, their memberships to Mainstreet Medina. It means a lot to us. As you can see, the blue chart on the right, well, is it? Yeah, on your left. That chart says a lot about where our money comes from. If you look at half of it, it's blue. It's because of the hard work of Angela Mancier, who pretty much single-handedly raises money from sponsors that sponsor our events. Our events are expensive to run, and Angela does a great job in making sure that those events are paid for. So if you're a sponsor here tonight, we appreciate your dollars because it goes a long way, and it says a lot about our community's support of our projects. The next kind of slice of the pie there is our fundraising membership drive. That's another almost half of the income coming from our membership, which is you, coming from our donors and our fundraising events. Last year we had casino night, and we didn't have it tonight. Is anyone disappointed that we didn't have casino? I am. Anyway, we'll have something later in the year, I'm sure of it. But anyway, if you look at the expense side, a lot of the expenses are administrative, as you can imagine, but a lot of it is also projects and money going out to fund the events, to fund the projects we work on. So we just want you to kind of see that those numbers are big, and we try to do the best we can with those figures because we know every dollar counts. Highlights for the year. Without our volunteers, we can't do what we do. So between the board, the committees, everybody that comes and volunteers for an event, we put in 3,170 volunteer hours. Now, if you look at the national average for what that is worth, it's $33.49 per hour. That is the national average for a volunteer hour value. And as you can see, that comes out to be about $106,000 of volunteer time that our organization gives. And I really appreciate all the time that people spend on our organization. Donors and grants, this does not include the $200,000 that Eric is talking about. It's actually donor money that comes into the organization. The city of Medina, who gives us a nice chunk of money every year and has promised more, and we appreciate that so much. The support from the city is critical. It is rare, I can tell you. Being in other Main Street communities is very rare. We have 215 members. Most of our members are businesses. We hope they benefit from some of the programs we have, some of the projects that are there designed to help them out. And that's 215 members, 118 of them are small businesses. The rest are families and individuals from Medina. And we hope that with the dollars that gets put into the community, which if you look at $20 spending, a person spending every year, the number of visitors that we pull in every year It comes to be about $1.68 million brought into the city of Medina every year. We have 4 committees that operate under chairpersons. The first committee is Roger Smalley. I don't think Roger's here tonight. Roger runs the design committee. A lot of the, did I press one button? So this is out of order, I apologize. No, it isn't. So we paid for in 2023 for a Southtown design plan. We got funding to do it. The plan got finished this year, and we're happy to say that we're ready now to move with action from that. We also funded a public art plan through Ohio Arts Council to say, hey, can public art be something Medina can have, and what should it look like? So there's a plan that was put in place for that. As Eric mentioned, the $150,000 is for this year. It was given to us by the state of Ohio. They had a special program, and we were funded along with the city of Medina. I think the city got some money from that. It's OTCIF funding. It was leftover money from, I think, a lot of programs, including ARPA, and we were happy to receive some of that funding. So we're going to use $150,000 for facade grant and loan program, and we're going to use $60,000 of it to start a gateway project in Southtown. So you'll notice some physical changes in Southtown this year. As part of the design plan, you could see that that gateway into Southtown was really important for us because that community says, hey, the square looks great, Southtown not so much. So we're trying to improve the look of Southtown by focusing on South Court and that first block to the railroad tracks. The other thing is Mill Street. If you've been on Mill Street, you've noticed we have events on there. So we have Mill Street Makers Markets on there. We have the Southtown Music Festival on there. It's a street that could become pedestrian on weekends and evenings. So we were thinking of having a way to make that look better. Same thing with other areas of Southtown. Southtown's one of those areas that is a lot of private-owned land, no public land. So we're trying to find spots of places that are underused where we could put a pop-up park. And that's what you see here. It's a gathering space for the public. Those things you'll hear more about in the coming months. We also looked into a public art plan. Right now there's a place-making plan in place that's kind of piqued our interest in what we can do in Medina as public art. And they talked about stuff like all of these things you see there. There's the silos that are in Southtown could have artwork on them. You can have things hanging like fabric art above the streets. It doesn't have to be murals and sculptures. It could be a lot of different things. So give us a chance to be able to start with a good place. They call them things like white rabbit art. That's art that follows along and is maybe temporary or permanent. I mentioned silo art, suspended art, murals and mosaics. Asphalt art is turning asphalt into an art feature. So we can kind of start with small projects like that. One of the things we thought we could focus on right now is we did a project with students called a Every Piece Matters project. And every student in the past year came to our events and painted a tile. Those tiles have been put together, and we have a mosaic that could be put on a bridge in Southtown. So we've already kind of started the process going. Murals, we have amazing artists in Medina. We have some here tonight, some people from the Community Design Center. We all know that we could use a little bit of art magic in our community. We have amazing artists that's work could be put on the sides of buildings. This is an example. This is another example. Matt Platts, I don't know if you know the photographer Matt Platts or not, but we could do things like this on the sides of buildings that right now have no art on them at all. So that's the potential for art in Medina. Streetscape design, we've been doing that. Every season we water flowers, as Eric mentioned. And we also have a fall flower pot contest, which we had 43 entries this year, and 400 people voted on their favorite one. So we got a lot of involvement with that. And then we always, the week before Candlelight Walk, decorate the square. So it's the city, it's our partners, the Kiwanis are here tonight, because they put hours into this on the weekend before Candlelight Walk to make sure it looks magical for Candlelight Walk. It takes a lot of work. So these are the kind of things we involve ourselves in and have partners helping us out with. So we appreciate that. Eric mentioned the facade loan and rehab program, facade grant and rehab loan program. That's going to kick off this year. It's $50,000 available for grants. It's $5,000 per facade matching. Commercial rehab loan program is $100,000 available, up to $25,000 per building. It's a low interest loan, 2% below prime. These things will roll out in this next month or two. We already had interest. There's 16 potential projects that already registered. totaling $135,000. So we have a lot of that money already spent by just the inquiries alone. Historic preservation, building conditions are something we've involved ourselves in from the beginning. I know Matt was a big historian, so he kind of made sure that the buildings that we love are taken care of. So keeping those in good working order is a responsibility of the property owner, the business, and us. If we notice things, we report it to the city. So we do a walkthrough audit every year and make sure that everything is intact, sidewalks, buildings, any pedestrian space. We want to make sure that people are safe when they walk around our community. Historic district advocacy, same thing, where we reached out to property owners and did a survey this year to ask them, what do you need from us? What do you need from the city? And we were happy to get a good response on that as well. The annual ornament, as you know, we did the engine house this year, and next year I think it's going to be the smart house. So you'll be seeing that in the next couple months. The Economic Vitality Committee, Sam, you want to stand up a second and acknowledge yourself? He's the chairperson for the Economic Vitality Committee. Thank you, Sam. They do things like Eric mentioned before about the research we do regarding visitor data. So between Scott Dillon, who will get an award tonight for this, and all the work he's done for us as a volunteer, and Manfred's work on this, we collected data from a company that provides community data, and those numbers help us put real figures to the things that we have always assumed. How many people are coming to our events? Where are they coming from? Those types of things help us to make better choices in the future and leverage our dollars a little bit better. So we're happy to have that program underway, and it's going to continue in 2025. Targeted business data is something we're going to work on this year. Each business that is a member has the ability to get a data sheet that will tell them how they did in the past year. We also have data that dates back to 2017, so a lot of this data that's out there is valuable to us, and we are using it. I do have to say that even though it's cell phone data, they're not collecting you. They don't know who you are, it's just basic data. And a lot of that stuff is taken from census reports and things. It also helps us with retail leakage and surplus, traffic data. There's a lot of information out there that we need to know. Is there too many of one thing and not enough of another in Medina? And that research can help us find that. So we'll be funding that again this year. Business support, we do workshops. There's quarterly workshops. We have a slew of them planned for this year. You'll be seeing more about them. Last year we did holiday marketing, cybersecurity, Google profiling, and AI, which was kind of scary, but it's coming. Direct mail marketing campaign, we did 3 of those last year. Went out to homes outside of the Medina area to bring them in. And new business welcomes, as Eric mentioned before, we partner with the city to do those ribbon cuttings. We give them a packet, and then Sam goes and follows up with each one of them to see if they need anything from us. Other economic development work is being done with parking and transit solutions. Everybody thinks we have a parking problem, and I know Andrew would disagree. There's not. It's a perception problem, right, Andrew? Perception issue. What? A walking problem. Nobody wants to walk. So we're looking at solutions. You know, sometimes the weather isn't so good. Sometimes people have the inability to get from one part of Medina to the other. So we're looking into private transit systems during events, weekends, and signage so people can find the parking, things like that. We're partnering with the city and a private transit company on that in this coming year, and you might see that happen. Dora, does anyone not know what Dora is? Dora the Explorer. Besides that Dora, there's a Dora that's a designated outdoor refreshment area. The mayor has given us the go-ahead on researching that. We just sent a survey out. There's over, how many responses? 500 responses now of people interested, for the most part, in a Dora. And this is basically during events, selecting an area so that people can walk around with an open container and shop and go from place to place and not have to, drink their drink and then pitch it and not walk around. It's only going to be during certain times, and it's something we're looking into. It's not a done deal by any means. It's a process of the city, and we're just collecting data at this point to see if there's interest and the possibility of doing it. We also work on business attraction, property advisory. A lot of people are interested in Medina, so between the city, the county, and Mainstreet Medina, we meet people that want properties. We want businesses that are looking for putting businesses in vacant properties, so we try to help manage that along with the city. and real estate agents as well. Organization committee is Christine Beiling-Schurer, who helped us organize this event tonight. Thank you so much, Christine. Amazing event. Where are you? He's right there. Thank you. Yay. Now, because this is 2024 data, we had the casino night last year. We had 72 attendants. Tonight we have 100. So thank you for raising that up tonight. We raised some funds. We had our sponsors, and we gave away 11 awards last year. The Beer Fest. Did anybody go to the Beer Fest? It was fun, right? So we had almost 1,000 people at Beer Fest, and we hope to increase those numbers. 70 craft beers. We raised $54,000. 90 volunteers it took to pull that off, and Gridiron Guys was our title sponsor for that. The scholarship program, we gave away $9,000 in scholarships this year, money raised by the golf outing and matched by organizations like Black & Decker, Cool Beans, and the class of 70. So with that in mind, we're looking at investing more funds to be able to have a scholarship program that continues every single year and grows every single year. The annual appeal, we just had that, and thanks to the donors for that, we mailed out direct mail to 500 homes, 200 companies. We received $10,000 from 65 donors, and thank you very much for contributing to that program as well. We also, from our membership, gain volunteers. As I said, we have 215 members, 118 are businesses, 87 individuals. 50 of those are new businesses or individuals. 165 are renewing members. So we have a really healthy membership base, and again, I thank you because that is you. We raised $87,000 this year, and we held a membership drive at community socials. As you can see, Bard and a few of our organization committee members are there at the community band social doing a little bit of PR. Promotions committee is run by Allie Burmeister. Allie, do you want to stand up and recognize yourself? She has been doing promotions work for several years for us. And to speak more on that is Angela Mancier, our events director. I'll do this if you want.
Okay. Kind of push this down. I know. So we meet monthly at Sully's, and it's a different committee because it's different people sometimes every month. But we gather to talk about past events, looking forward to new, and it's one of my favorite committees only in the fact that it involves the small business owners, the restaurateurs that we're trying to support with the events and the promotions we're doing, and it gives us a real-time ability to kind of change on a dime. If it didn't work, why do we keep doing it? So we have the opportunity to get that feedback from them, knowing if we're hitting our goals and the marks that we're trying to achieve, and just having that interaction. And sometimes those conversations can go quite long, but they're needed conversations. We have the city schools are represented, as well as the city of Medina. Often the commissioner will be there. So it is a really resourceful group, and people who are like boots on the ground, they know what's going on, and it's valuable information for George and I to take away. We often have Barbara Lee is there at that meeting as representing the volunteers. So that is always just a work in progress. Every agenda is different. Allie does a great job of just keeping us on track when we get a little in the weeds. But the things that we've been able to do obviously is they help support and guide with all of the Mainstreet Medina signature events, which we have 4 of, and then also the farmers market. And then also really just kind of hand-holding those promotional events, and are they worth it? And sometimes they're just fun things to do, and maybe there's not a dollar amount, but that's not always why we do what we do. We do it to provide an activity for the kids to do, like Gnomes on the Roam right before they go back to school, a last hurrah. It's just fun, and something that kind of brings the families out to get that last lemon berry ice cream before they head back to school. So again, always evaluating why are we doing what we're doing, and are we spending our time appropriately to get the biggest bang for our buck and our time, because those are 2 things that we're always trying to get more and more of. And then obviously, we were really proud of it, and it's great to have the Placer AI because now we can actually put numbers. We would sometimes guess, and we weren't always that far off, and we would do zip code counts. this placer AI is just backing up everything we've been saying, and it really shows us that we're growing the events and by how many, and it helps us set goals for the next year. So, our the Mainstreet Medina signature events, we're able to bring in over 84,000 visitors into our community, and then with people like Manford and Scott, they let those numbers tell the story, and now we're really being able to see who are they, what's bringing them here when we do surveys and things like that. And even Candlelight Walk is a great example of we're noticing Friday and Saturday seem to be that 44256, Medina County, maybe a little bit of Summit County, but it's Sunday's events for whatever reason, and we're going to try and use those numbers to figure it out. Sunday brings in people who are a little curious in Cuyahoga County and Wayne County, so maybe we mix it up a little bit and intertwine so that we can have those people interested all 3 days, or our Medina people coming all 3 days. Who knows? But possibilities are endless, and we just really enjoy and appreciate the volunteers' time who works on that, but they report back to the promotions committee so that, again, we can have meaningful conversations. So it's an hour and a half of great fun, and really anyone in this room is invited to attend at 8:30 in the morning, first Wednesdays of the month. So, any more? Okay. So now we have the farmers market. So the farmers market is considered one of the signature events. It's 21 weeks out of the year. George or Eric kind of mentioned, and when I started at least, kind of where we were with the farmers market. And, thank God Main Street took that as an opportunity to grow it and to change it and maybe do it a little differently than they had in the past. And I'm proud to be part of that process. I think Main Street is all the better for it because they really looked in the mirror and saw that maybe we could do some things to support this a little bit differently. And they have, and I'm so grateful. The things that I'm most proud of, if you've ever talked to me offline on this, is not just the size of the market, but the quality and the diversity of the things that we offer, but more importantly, it's that food assistance program. It's a wonderful opportunity to open up our square and our surrounding downtown to people who may not have always felt like they could shop with our farmers market by allowing them to bring their SNAP cards and their WIC and all their different food insecurity programs to our market. And then they also sometimes get incentives so they can stretch those dollars even further, which is just an added bonus. We have been able to pretty much open ourselves up to accept any food insecure program that's out there. We were part of a pilot program that infused another $7,000 into our community members' pockets. We saw almost 5,000 of those dollars went back into the vendors' pockets. The number that I am most proud of is that top one. Almost $22,000 went back into the vendors' pockets. That meant that people were able to come and shop and enjoy our square and hopefully get some really great ideas on what to do with that good, nutritious, healthier food. But it also benefited our vendors. If a vendor was not at our market, they weren't going to get that money. And it kind of makes us a little more attractive to, I've got one of my farmers market vendors here, and by Mainstreet Medina supporting these programs, it's an investment. I had a SNAP assistant. I continue to. We pay that person to come there every week. We have equipment. We have just expenses with it. But Main Street has been committed to that program since I've been around, and it's just done nothing but grow. And we definitely will continue to put our efforts behind it. And the number of people we've served with it has grown. Yes. So I'll just kind of go through each of the events. They were wonderful. And we couldn't do any of them without, as the mayor pointed out, the city. And his work is he does commit them to us. We get together, we work as a team. The volunteers are enormous. Our community and board and student volunteers make it happen. There's just a lot of things going on, and I can only be in one place. So having them there, it just kind of puts me at a peace of mind. But what we've really tried to do over the last 2 years since George and I took over is that each of the events has an identity. Like if I can't call Sarah or answer her call and say, what is this event supposed to do? Who is it supposed to draw on? What can I expect? If I can't answer that question, then we have a problem. So it really has always been in the back of my mind, Sarah, that I want to be able to answer your questions. And so, Kids Day, we took it back to the kids, the parents. It needed to be a resource for them. So we brought in the vendors and the resources, the nonprofits, whoever, the rec center, who has the dance studios, all that kind of stuff, so that they could plan their summer and keep their kids busy and entertained. And that's what Kids Day should be about. And then obviously Teen Fest, we're getting better at trying to reach this group of kids that, again, they don't feel like that square belongs to them. This is the beginning of the summer, and we want that to give them very loud and clear the message, this is your square too. So we've got a great committee working on this event and then also Fall Festival. And it has just become such a blessing, I think, to our community. Southtown, Fall Festival, that we only did, this is our second year doing this event. It kind of replaced Medina Fest because, again, we just did not have an identity with that one. And so pleased on being able to bring the community together. Again, so volunteer driven. This one in particular, Sam from Armstrong, he helped me get the boys and girls rugby team to put that hay maze together. Chase, I don't know if you were there that morning, but something that took them almost an hour and a half, 2 hours to do last year, took them about half an hour, 45 minutes this year. I mean, it's just with many hands, light work. So I just so appreciate that. This event is a great example. It could not happen without the volunteers and just even the committee and coming up with wonderful ideas, and then the community letting us keep growing this event and changing it. So, we'll keep doing it. It's always a challenge to see how we can make it better next year, but I think we'll be able to rise to the challenge.
Notice the zip codes on this, 39% in the diamond. So on this event in particular, we brought in more outside Medina people.
And these events, they're not necessarily going to go shop after they come to this event. I personally feel like if we can just get people into Medina, into the square, Medina sells itself. It's so quaint, it's beautiful, it leaves you wanting more. So they might just come for the Fall Festival for that afternoon, but we have now laid an indelible mark saying, next free weekend we're going back just to go shop and eat in some of those restaurants. So, these events are a draw for many, many reasons. Southtown Music Fest, again, we're continuing to grow it, where we really want to have it meet the needs of what the people want, and I love to see the people and the families that come out for this event. We're constantly changing and evolving it because I think we just want to find our own identity with that. So we'll keep working with the committee and see what we can come up with this year. And then Candlelight. Candlelight is Medina's event. I just love the fact that anywhere on that schedule you are finding our gem. So we brought the toy soldier, who was the Cleveland's gem of Christmas last year. Well, you know what? We have our own gems here in Medina, and I felt it was my job to bring them together and to let them shine. And in doing that, I don't have to spend as much money, which is great for the organization, but if nothing more, though, it allowed those groups to shine, and it allowed us to show off what Medina has to offer. And I particularly feel very strongly that the arts and entertainment of our community is untapped, and I want to keep bringing more and more of that out. So, everybody just comes out and gives so much for this event. The candlelight walk decorating that goes on, if you come out, you should come out those weekends. Everyone's represented. We have council people that come out. We have the businesses, the nonprofit organizations, the kids, the students, the career center. Everybody comes out. It's just one of those where those volunteer lists fill up very quickly, which I'm very pleased to see. I would love to know what that secret is. But everyone has their hand, so that, when you're driving by, so many people can say, I helped do that. And there's such a sense of pride with it. So, we'll just kind of continue to make that Medina's gem. So. Okay, Ladies' Night Out and Cars and Coffee are what we call promotional events. And again, that promotions committee is key on throughout the year trying to tweak these events so that we meet the needs of the restaurants and the businesses that we're trying to serve, and the customers and our guests. So you'll see some differences in Ladies' Night Out this year, because I think we want to kind of go back to grassroots and why we started this event and not make it so complicated. But they're wonderful events, and people really have so much fun with them. Cars and Coffee is just one of those events that been a dream. It's a great group of people. They are easy. They love our town. And so they just love to just come 6 o'clock in the morning, they're already parked, getting their spot. And it brings in our people. They love to look under the hoods of all those cars, and some people are there to kind of show them off. So we have grown that event for sure, and it's just, our sponsorship that was just on the nose. I mean, we have Cool Beans and Packard as, and then Armstrong as our 3 major sponsors of that event. Couldn't ask for a better team. So. And if it rains, they don't come. Yes, that's for sure. That's why that October one did get canceled. Yeah. And then you can talk about Restaurant Week.
Yeah. So just briefly, Restaurant Week is an experiment. We try to include as many restaurants in Medina as we can. So we were able to get 23 restaurants involved this year. It was 10 days, 2 weekends included in that. 734 passports were entered. So we did do this thing where it's an online passport. You sign up, you go to each restaurant, you hit a QR code at your table, and you're entered into a drawing, and you have a chance to win prizes. 734 people played this game. So it just shows you the success of it. 41% again is Medina, which means that I don't know math, but what is that? 49% is not Medina. So you can see we have great sponsors. The restaurants gave away gift cards. We gave away grand prizes. It was a lot of fun. Just briefly, Angela, if you don't mind, I'm just going to go through these real quickly. We do partner with other events. Medina Ice Festival is coming up. You can see the draw of that, huge. So we can actually show numbers from that. The Student Art Show with the city of Medina, the city schools happens. It's going to be happening on March 1st. Draws a lot of visitors. Solar eclipse last year, Barbara, an amazing job on the solar eclipse event. There was a show party, and then the whole weekend was kind of fun events happening around town. Medina Pride Day is something that happens on June 8th, Juneteenth celebration. Mainstreet Makers Markets happen every month, and Wizarding Weekend happens around August. All successful events that are held by other people that we help promote and get involved in. So, without further ado, it's time to award the 2024 Mainstreet Medina Award Celebration. Before I get started, I do want to acknowledge one person. So, Eric, stand up, please. Where'd he go? So Eric is this guy who not only volunteers a lot of time, but he also is an idea guy, and he's a taskmaster, I can tell you. But to a good point, he makes sure that this organization not only does its things, but strategically does it well. So thank you so much for that, Eric. You started volunteering for Mainstreet Medina years ago, right? Economic Vitality Organization. And you started on the board, you became our fearless leader for 2 terms. Was it 2 terms? And you provided your professional talents and experience working with Timken. You also had your own marketing firm. Those talents really brought us to, I think, a better level, a more professional level. And in his time as a Mainstreet Medina president, he's helped to form us into a mature organization with your skills in strategic planning, your passion for growth and direction, and your love for our community. So thank you very much, Eric. Appreciate it. Actually, you want to come back up? Okay, so now we're going to start introducing our awards. The first award is Scott Dillon, Volunteer of the Year.
Okay, come on up, Scott. So as I mentioned, the volunteers make this happen. And if you've ever seen the volunteer tent, and you probably recognize a lot of the same faces, which we're very grateful for. But Scott was a pretty cool story. What's that? Oh. All right. So Scott came up. He had a Florence shirt on, and it caught my eye. My daughter had studied in Florence. So we started talking and had a great conversation, gave him my business card, interested in volunteering, great. Then I didn't hear from him. He never called me. He's the reason I implemented, if someone asks about being a vendor, sponsor, or a volunteer, please write their email down too so I can follow up with them. That's been in place since. But he was good enough. He actually came back 2 weeks later. He's like, I fully admit, I lost your business card. And it happens. But I'm so glad that he came back because he ended up, I think, then my sign of genius blew up. He pretty much, if he was available, he was there. And sometimes he'd come and stay for 2 shifts, and he was always there. He'd wait at the other end of Broadway Street, and I'd give him the thumbs up, and he'd open up the one end, I'd open up the other. So it's my least favorite part of the farmer's market on Broadway Street. And so he was just always so patient, willing to do anything, and just so glad that you came back that second time. Yeah, because it's just been a game changer. And then George can speak on other things that he does for our organization. So, yeah.
Yeah, so Scott is instrumental in helping us collect data. He's a data geek, self-admitted, and he analyzes our visitor data using Placer on a volunteer basis. He's created what's called a data lake.
Yeah, we don't know.
Who knew there was a data lake? But it's information from our events, such as visitor counts, zip codes, demographics like average ages, income, etc., that dates back to 2017. As I mentioned before, Scott worked at Smucker's since 2014 in various analytical and account management roles, planning and managing the businesses for their many lines of products. We thank you, Scott, for your many talents to our team, and congratulations. Okay, next is Student of the Year Award.
Okay, I am very pleased to present the Student of the Year Award to Noah Abernathy. Come on up, Noah. Just so you know, we've started, Noah's the third recipient of a Student of the Year volunteer award. We never had one before. And I finally said, these kids are just so amazing. And, they get up so early in the morning on those Saturdays. So Noah, actually, one of the reasons he, and a lot of the people that we chose, especially some of the ones I had a hand in, I did it because they're examples. They're just, if we could have lots of these kind of people, life would be so easy. And I know there are others like you, Noah, so go help me find them. But I thank God that you are who you are. He reached out to me, not because, if you know, a lot of my student volunteers come from student council in Medina High School or their Key Club, and incredibly grateful for their advisors and their students. But they get a little sign of genius, and that it's just a very easy process. He had to find me, then he actually emailed me and followed up, and I really respected that. I was like, I gotta meet this guy. So he came, and all by himself. Now, he doesn't get hours. These other kids, student council, Key Club, they get hours that they need for volunteerism. I said, Noah, can I write something? Can I document them, send them to somebody? He's like, no, I don't. I'm just doing this because I like to do this. And he was interested in what we were doing. So he came week after week. He came a lot of weeks in the summer. Actually, you had, I think, the second highest number, only second to the person who won last year. So you're in good company. But, I do think, maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I think I might have pushed you out of your comfort zone a little bit with some of the tasks I asked you to do. You were very honest about how you felt about that, which I appreciate. It's a really good skill to learn how to speak to an adult that way, and always respectfully, let me tell you. But I so appreciate you coming and trying new things, coming back for more, because I said, I hope you sign up again. And it's always a good sign when by Saturday night, they're already signing up for more hours. I'm like, okay, they had fun. So I really appreciate you, Noah. He did find out pretty recently he is going to The Ohio State University next year. So, and he'll be studying computer science, so maybe he can join Manford and Scott Dillon when he graduates and swim in that data lake or whatever that is. So thank you very much, Noah. Okay, so our nonprofit of the year, there's tough competition because we have some great nonprofits in this town, let me tell you. But it's the Medina Breakfast Kiwanis that really just made life so easy this year, and we're very grateful. Often you guys reaching out to us before we even had time to think and know that we needed you. And just like I said, the fact that one of the big things is they're the guys with the ladders who help with all the wreaths. We had some delays with the wreaths, so that one morning then turned into 2, and it was not warm. And so they were willing to come back the next day to finish, because we were really getting nervous thinking we only have the Kiwanis on the one day. And you guys were so gracious enough to come back the next day. You guys were one of the first people to call out, what can we do for Promise of Christmas? I mean, just you read those articles in the paper, you see there's a need, and somebody's job, I think, is just call and follow up with all those kinds of requests, because you are just at the ready for any kind of need that we have, even before we know we have it. So I just so appreciate, and you guys come out in droves. There's so many of you, and then just your connections throughout the community is just twofold. I just very, very much appreciate everything that you guys do, not just for Mainstreet Medina, but for so many organizations throughout the whole year. So, yes, thank you. Good job. Okay. Neither Sam Davis nor Dr. Shoebridge from the Cleveland Clinic are here, but I just, again, a great example. We gave them the Partnership of the Year award. It's kind of a new award we've never done, but we really work closely with them on many levels, and they're a great example of the fact that, there's so many of us that want to do the same thing, and it's silly for all of us to rent the square and do it weekend after weekend. Why don't we pool our resources together and our ideas together, our volunteers together, and create something that's really important to both of us, and let the event shine together. And the Cleveland Cleveland Clinic Health and Wellness Expo is a great example of that. Not to mention they have been either our title sponsor or our health and wellness sponsor for the last 5 years. And Sam sits on the Kids Day Committee on behalf of Cleveland Clinic, as well as the Fall Festival. Her volunteers helped out with the pumpkin painting at the Fall Festival, and then we also sit on the Juneteenth committee together. And then there's the Cleveland Clinic Partnership meeting. It's just, they really do try and reach out to so many of us and make a huge difference to Main Street and others. So that's why they received the Partnership of the Year award. Okay, Cooktannic family, come on up. So the Community Spirit of the Year award is going to a family. This family I've actually known for a long time in a different world. Came across Laurel, reached out 2 years ago volunteering a lacrosse group that I think Kirsten, you were a part of. So this is the Cooktannic family, and they have been amazing for like I said, the last couple of years. What I love is the fact that Laurel and Sean are using volunteerism here in Medina as kind of a rock in their family. It is a basis of what they do and who they are. And on the day that they saved my butt at Candlelight Walk doing a job I hate, they were going around putting all the signs out, and they did it as a family. And then I saw on their social media they were also ringing the bell for Salvation Army. And then they also stopped at Cups Cafe and donated some things. That was just all in one day. And then they came back, and the next day had a job, and then on Sunday they went and picked up all those signs for me again. And they've done that kind of thing throughout the whole year at different events. Helped even organizing like the lacrosse girls. It's huge. I only had to deal with one person, Laurel, and I knew that whole area was taken care of. It just makes life easier, and such a joy. But I just really respect Sean and Laurel and the girls and what you do. And I know I can say with certainty that you're going to have a spirit of volunteerism unlike most your age. And you're going to be sitting in these chairs someday receiving these kinds of awards, because that's where it all starts. And so I just want to encourage that, and thank you so much for doing what you did, because I hope people see it kind of outside looking in, and maybe they'll start emulating it, and you'll help. So, yes. Thank you very much. I think I'm done. Well, we're gonna tag team the Olive Tap. The Olive Tap is the retail business of the year, and we both kind of felt strongly about the Olive Tap because Christina, whom I've been working with She's a farmer's market vendor. She has a store on the square, always very positive. That's always been great. This year, though, I got to meet her husband, Seth, and she just wanted to get more involved, so she became one of our major sponsors. She was going to be our Toy Soldier sponsor of the Candlelight Walk, and because Toy Soldier couldn't come, she was then one of the fireworks sponsors. She was like, sure, I'm in for whatever. So it was fantastic, and I mean, that was a big leap of faith, and I really appreciate you taking that with us. And then George can talk a little bit more also about the other volunteer work that they've done, but you just kind of come out, you've always had a great business, but you really kind of found your way in our organization, and hoping that maybe that's a little bit of a rock for you and your business, and it did not go unnoticed. Okay. Well, though I just want to say she and her husband both volunteered at our community band nights and all that kind of stuff. So.
So as Angela said, I just want to mention what the Olive Tap is, because for any of you that haven't been in there, which I doubt, it's at 30 Public Square. It's known for the most unique, flavorful, award-winning extra virgin olive oils and balsamic vinegars available today. Christina has contributed much to Mainstreet Medina over the years, and along with her husband Seth, works tirelessly for us through our social events. So we appreciate that so much. Congratulations. So the next award goes to 17 Public Square. Jim Hansen and Karen Farley, are they here tonight? I saw you earlier. You still here? Come on up, guys. So you know the restaurant, but you don't know who owns the building and who takes care of it. If you noticed, it went through an amazing renovation this year. I think that looks amazing. That speaks for itself. So thank you so much for the work that you did.
Thank you to the building department to come out and help us when some stuff that started it fell off the building.
Oh, that's not good.
Thank you to the city water department for coming out in the middle of the night and running a sonar check. I don't know how they do it underground, and they found an underground leak that affected 5 places on the street. And last but not least, thanks to James Guame. He does excellent work, and he's very dedicated.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. We'll read a little bio before we get a picture. So Jim and Karen are siblings who own the building. In 2024, it underwent a restoration from the cornice to tile repair, cleaning and painting, the other things you mentioned. The attention to detail and quality of the workmanship by local craftsman James Guame is top-notch. Karen said she and Jim inherited the building from their dad in 2021, and it's been in the family for 3 generations. That's pretty cool. Your mother's family also owned it previously and lived in Medina for many years. The facade rehab is a testament to the love the owners have for the Medina and this building. To quote Medina historian Bob Hyde, you guys know Bob Hyde, in his treasured archival record called Beyond the Storefronts, the space has its own rustic feel with brick walls from the 1870s and stonework from the 1840s in the downstairs of that building. It was known as the Ferriman Building. Was that relatives of yours, the Ferriman family? No. So that was previous owners. Built the building. It was occupied by a clothing and dry goods store for 85 years. 17 Public Square Restaurant and Bar is a worthy replacement to remember Main Street Cafe that was there before. I think 17 Public Square Restaurant's done a great job in there as well. So thank you guys for being there. Medina is proud to honor you for the historic preservation you kept up on your building. Appreciate it so much.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you, guys. So the next award, I'm terrible at running this thing. It doesn't want to go. It's stuck. All of a sudden, no. Anyway, Linda, could you do a manual? Oh, there we go. Mark's Cleaning Service. So Mark's Cleaning Service, Mark, you want to come up and your wife Bonnie? Mark's Cleaning Service and Mark and Bonnie have been members and supporters of Mainstreet Medina for years, and we appreciate that. Even before we expanded our footprint into Southtown District, you guys were here to help us out. You may recognize Mark. He's the lead vocalist for 2 local bands, Styly Wild and Legends. Does anybody he looks a little different today, but we're happy you're here. In 2023, Mark approached us for help with the new facade design that would complement the industrial style that was inspiring the Southtown area. So the Farmers Exchange, Lisa Rowe was invested in a building down there that the new construction just imitated that look that we were looking for in that area of town. It's not the square, it's not historic district, but it has that industrial feel. He said, we want that, we want to do that. So Roger Smalley and I met with local artist Cindy Allman to come up with some design ideas for him and recommend styles, materials, and Mark and Bonnie took those designs to their contractor, who's also from Southtown. They all have offices there, Artists in Building and Designs, and together created this amazing transformation of that building. Does anyone remember what it looked like before? Quite a change. And that's why they get the Facade Improvement of the Year award. We thank you, and is Brent here too? Your son is not here? It's a family affair. You have 100 plus employees at this point, right? You founded in 1984, is that right? And it specialized in carpet and janitorial services, and then you purchased the building, grew, expanded, and you added new services beyond that, right? So you guys do a lot of things at this point. So thank you so much. Thank you for your contractor who did a beautiful job on this, and congratulations on Facade Improvement of the Year award.
Thank you.
All right, so I can get this thing working. It'll eventually go. There we go. Jumping ahead now. Sweets and Geeks. Not corkscrew. There we go. Sweets and Geeks. Brad Hoisington is here tonight. And I think you brought some people with you, right, Brad? You're over here? Just you tonight? So Brad Hoisington and Jim McMahon have become an institution in Medina. Ever since they opened Sweets and Geeks at 342 East Smith Road, you guys have been a stalwart in Medina. Founded in 2020, Sweets and Geeks is a pop culture haven for retro and modern memorabilia and candy, of course, offering both sweets and geeky games, hence the name, and collectibles in a friendly, welcoming space. In 2022, they renovated space, opened up the second half of the building, added 15,000 square feet for a total of 7 large rooms for all of that stuff. Last year, they also opened a freeze-dry production facility in Southtown and leased a warehouse. You guys are growing that much. Since their opening, they've expanded to provide even more candy options, a soda shop, large game room, more games, more collectibles. And if that's not enough, they most recently grew into 2 new locations, the Great Northern Mall and Waynetown Plaza. That is amazing. So Brad and Jim and their team have always given back to the community, providing their life-size characters, games, and giveaways at our events. And Brad is a member of our design committee and Southtown team as well. We're honored to present Sweets and Geeks with the Business Expansion of the Year award. Black Cat Books and Oddities. The family has a knack for pop culture, I have to say that. Max and Alicia Fraser are related to Brad Hoisington, so this family, they get it. They get pop culture and they get what people want. So not only did Sweets and Geeks expand, but Black Cat Books and Oddities have expanded. They have 2 locations now, both in Medina. Max and Alicia, don't turn the page, have blown us away, again with another Medina icon, located at 2 100-year-old houses in Southtown, 420 South Court, 119 Lafayette. Max and Alicia are passionate about good stories. Alicia is a writer by trade and loves literature. Max shared his musical talents this year at the Southtown Music Festival with his band Pink Masquerade. Alicia grew up in Medina and wanted to bring her love of great stories to the community and offer a unique experience, something new to discover every time you visit. Black Cat continues to expand with new reading genres and activity rooms for adults and kids alike, featuring classic and local authors, fiction, nonfiction, romance and fantasy, and magic and curiosity. We're proud to have these 2 creative fixtures in Southtown as part of the vision to develop a arts and entertainment district in the Southtown of Medina. Congratulations to Alicia and Max on your business expansion. Come on up, guys. And they brought the team with them. Awesome. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Congratulations, Steve. Corkscrew Saloon. I'm out of order here. Corkscrew Saloon is not here tonight. No, I'm sorry, Gary is here. Where are you, Gary? Come on up. So the Corkscrew Saloon, as you know, is located at 811 West Liberty Street and is well known for providing the finest in local dining with a commitment to fresh local ingredients, partnering with local nearby farmers to provide you the best our region has to offer. From farm to table, every dish is crafted with care, ensuring a delightful culinary experience from casual lunch to an intimate dinner to a special event. The Corkscrew Saloon is located in a restored Victorian mansion known as the Burham House. Did you know that? Yes. And they have ghosts. I hear there are ghosts.
There's a
Couple stories. It was built in the 1850s. Executive Chef Ryan Marino is a Medina native who developed his culinary skills at a young age while helping out with his father's catering business. He later honed in his skills at several area restaurants, including the Columbia Hills Country Club. In the 9 years since Ryan opened, the Corkscrew Saloon is known for the best steaks, prime rib, seafood, and salads. We're proud to present Restaurant of the Year award to their general manager, Tom Carey, on behalf of the entire staff and Ryan, who's enjoying a well-deserved vacation, I hear. He deserves it. He's a hard worker. Congratulations. Thank you. Minuteman Press. So for those of you who know Minuteman Press, located at 455 West Liberty Street, they've been serving Medina County since 1979 and has been under the same ownership since 2019. Dave Wyatt and his team prides themselves on offering customer-friendly personal service and top-quality printing. They provide full-color digital printing with state-of-the-art equipment, full bindery, and graphic design services as well. Minuteman also offers mailing services, business cards, envelopes, letterheads, trifold brochures, carbonless forms, signs and banners, promotional products, apparel. You guys do everything. And they have free delivery, in case you didn't know. Minuteman is known for building personal relationships with their customers. They say customer success is their success, and I do appreciate that. Dave and his team are deeply connected to the community, providing years of support to nonprofits, engaging with community organizations like ours, and sponsoring local events. Minuteman Press printed our annual report that you have with you tonight. And as always, we squeeze your deadlines, Dave, so apologize for that. Last minute always. We're honored to have Dave here and his team at Minuteman Press receiving the Service Business of the Year Award. Just a couple to go. Elements is not here tonight, but if you know Elements, they're our last award for the evening. We're proud to present them as the new Business of the Year Award. They're at 228 South Court Street. It's a lifestyle boutique that features a relaxed, curated collection of home decor, giftware, baby items, and ever-rotating selection of women's clothing and accessories. Owner Shell Venus was the owner of the popular Funky Junk Boutique in Seville since 2024. Since before 2024, and then they moved to Medina. We're pleased to have Elements as part of our famous collection of boutiques along Court Street and is an active member of Mainstreet Medina's events and activities. Shell could not be here this evening, so I will drop in at the shop and give her her award. So thank you to all of our award winners this evening. We thank all of our members and attendees tonight, especially our host sponsors, Williams on the Lake, partnering sponsor, Huntington Bank, and supporting sponsor, Armstrong, Critchfield, and Johnson. Have a safe drive home and stay warm. Thank you all very much.